Hello everybody, Rainbow Red Panda here. I am doing a review today of the comic series Dream Thief. This is issue number 1 and then issue number 2. It is a 5-part series that is put out by Dark Horse Comics. And it is only in the first 2 issues right now. Issue number 3 comes out on July 17th, so if you enjoy the way that the comic sounds, you can feel free to go out to your local store and buy it. You can read it online, or you can just I don't know, I guess just not read it at all, but if you enjoy it, I would suggest reading it. It is a good read. I just read the second one today, and after not reading the first one for so long, I was really confused. So if you guys do decide to read these, you have the luxury that the first 2 are already out, but I wouldn't, if you decide to read them, I wouldn't take a long time between each issue because I was really confused because I didn't read it when it first came out. I waited a few weeks and I had no idea what was going on. I had to reread the first one completely to even slightly understand. So, the first one starts off, this is the main character. His name is John Lincoln. He normally doesn't wear the mask. It's not like a normal thing. Like, that's what he looks like normally. If you see him there, that is John Lincoln in a normal atmosphere. It kind of takes place, he has a girlfriend named Claire. His best friend is an ex-football player named Reggie Harrison. And they kind of have like their own little thing. Him and Reggie go out and party a lot, which you can, it's very evident in this comic that they do. Him and Claire kind of have a strained relationship right now because they had a home invasion that happened in their house, and Claire is still having some side effects from that. So it's kind of like their relationship is not in a good place right now. And it starts off with him waking up, realizing that he has cheated on her. It's not as dramatic as it sounds. I don't know, he calls his best friend, they make like a little plan of what they're going to tell her. And it gets a little bit more dynamic than that. It starts off, the stereotypical, what if you woke up and you didn't know what you had done the night before? So yeah, you're just like, okay, typical, like, drunk boy hangover type stuff. But it actually turns into a lot more than that. After the whole thing with his girlfriend, they get into a fight at a restaurant over just him not understanding why she can't get over the home invasion and all of that. So Reggie feels bad for him. They go out again to like this museum gala type thing. Before the gala, he goes and gets some marijuana from a supplier that he has, which might not be the best idea, especially in a museum setting, but they engage in that in the museum. He gets kind of messed up. He wakes up the next morning with this mask on. It is an Aborigine mask that they stole at the museum. And his girlfriend is dead in the bedroom, I'm guessing is the location of where her body was found. But he doesn't exactly remember at first. But then he has these memories of this man named Armando. And he has no idea who Armando is. His girlfriend met him once. He fixed her car, and she, I guess, blamed him for the home invasion because he had access to like her credit card information, which then got access to home information, which would make a home invasion possible. The police checked it out. His story cleared. He was not involved at all. He was just a completely innocent bystander. Claire, the girlfriend, did not buy this. I guess she took things into her own hands and actually murdered this Armando character just to get a peace of mind. So that was actually kind of why she was so skittish. It had nothing to do with not being completely over the invasion. It was just being scared. Basically, you just killed someone. Like, you're not gonna just act completely normal. At least most people wouldn't. So he finds this out after getting Armando's thoughts into his brain after completely passing out. All of this transpired while he was sleeping. Hence the name Dream Thief. Things happen whenever he should be dreaming, basically, is the whole point of the whole comic. Whenever he wakes up, he knows that something bad is going to have happened. In this case, he killed his girlfriend he was avenging Armando's death, basically. He had all of Armando's thoughts in his head. He knew scenes from TV shows he had never watched. He knew, where to go with things, how to do things that he didn't even know how to do. He developed all of Armando's traits. He was just still in his body. It's kind of almost like the whole Spider-Man, Dr. Octavius kind of thing. You have Peter Parker in there doing stuff, and it's still your own brain. It's kind of like that, only a little bit more in depth. It's a common thing that you read in comic books, mind taking over and things like that, but it's a little different, whenever the person is not living, and how that even came up. I'm not sure with the whole comic. It'll probably go on later on to explain. But so he avenges Armando. He goes on to bury his girlfriend in quicksand. He throws the mask in the quicksand with him, and then, of course, the next morning he wakes up with it on. He has no idea where he is, and he wakes up with 7 dead bodies around him. Isn't that totally normal for people? I don't know. Not really. So that's kind of where the first one leaves off, him around these 7 dead bodies. And I thought, it would be a simple explanation, but here's the last page. Him and his, dead bodies. And it's not just any dead bodies. He's, at a porn, a place that makes pornography. So that's a little thing on that. The second one, I was really confused because it wasn't talking about him at all. You see pictures of John Lincoln and he's acting things out. I mean, obviously this is the same person, but he wasn't. He was calling himself Jimmy. There's this magical Jimmy person, and I didn't know who this was, so I was really confused. So I had to go and reread the first one. He is now not in Armando's mind anymore. Jimmy has taken over his mind. Jimmy is an ex-military person who was kicked out of the military for being gay. The whole don't ask, don't tell thing wasn't in effect, so I guess whenever they found out that you were homosexual in the military, they just kicked you out. I didn't know this was a thing. I don't have a lot of people that I know in the military, and they are not homosexuals or any of that, so I had no idea. I knew don't ask, don't tell was a thing, and that's about all that I know. I'm sorry, I'm not very well educated on the whole military tactics, but this takes place in basically a porn company that shoots porn for people in the military who are gay, and it's just special, I guess, I don't know if it's really contraband, but it was a very secretive operation, and it was full of all of the people that were in the videos were people who were kicked out of the military, and then they were making videos for people who were currently in the military. So I don't see how that would necessarily be banned, but somehow Don't Ask, Don't Tell made the pornography part of it go away, and so instead they started selling drugs. Well, Jimmy didn't want to be a part of this whole drug selling thing. He just wanted, he was in the porn business. He didn't want to sell drugs. The people that were in the business with him ended up killing him. These are close friends, ex-boyfriends, friends, best friends. His dad wasn't involved, but a guy that he looked to as a father figure was involved, and it was just a traumatic thing for Jimmy. I feel bad for Jimmy. Poor Jimmy. But John takes over Jimmy's thoughts. He knows how to do all of this stuff. His dad, I guess, taught him how to shoot guns at a very early age, so he's very familiar with weapons and things like that. So John comes in with his mask that just magically kind of appeared. He was even confused as to how that happened. He goes on to avenge all of Jimmy's death. He finds his body. While he's conscious, he doesn't kill anybody. He will just torture and or make it where they are incapacitated. He will explain to them that he's not going to kill them. That was while he was asleep. And then he always has the signature. He dials 911 on a cell phone, leaves it, and says, "I hope they find you before you die." So that's kind of how it always leaves off. He tries to bury someone alive. He leaves somebody in a locked storage locker. He'll play the phone with 911 with their mouths taped and things. I'm guessing so 911 can trace the call and find them, but if it happens in time, it happens in time. If not, then, oh well, he's avenging, a person. So that's kind of how it all ends. There's another, in the second one, they do kind of talk a little bit about Claire. He kind of made it look like she left the country, and so there is a little bit dealing with that. It ends up with him waking up in another state. This time he doesn't have any memories, but there is a body, so he's going to figure out what's up with that. So that's kind of where it leaves off. It seems like it's going to be a good series. I really like it. I was really confused the second one. I was like, why am I reading this? This makes no sense. But once I reread the first one, along with the second one, I remembered why I liked it. And I would recommend it to anybody. It is just a 5-part thing. It's not going to be a super long series, but each issue is going to be different. You're going to have different characters. Of course, John's going to be the same, and then I don't think Reggie is done with his part in it either. So they'll keep making appearances, but I mean, you have different obstacles each time, and it's pretty much all gets taken care of in the first, or in that current issue. So the next one is going to deal with some sort of hate crime being avenged, it looks like. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting concept. I mean, it's one that you kind of see before, but you don't see it like this. It kind of reminds me of like a butterfly effect kind of thing. Like, you're you don't know what you're doing. Like, you wake up and it's just completely different. Like, I mean, that would be really freaky. So I think that he deals with it well. And I don't know. I think it's very interesting, and I'm excited to read the rest of it. It is kind of something that I would expect Dark Horse to make, so I am glad they're making it. And I don't know, that's all I really have to say about it. I would suggest that you guys go out and read it. I'm sure I've seen it at other comic book stores. My store doesn't carry it. It is something that I special ordered, but I have seen it at like other bigger stores that I go to. They do carry it, so you shouldn't have a problem finding it. Dark Horse also does a lot of stuff online, so you can get it online digitally, or I don't know, you can just borrow somebody's or something like that. But I would suggest going out and reading it. I think of all of the sort of not common comics, it's in the top 10 up there for me for sure. So yeah, I would suggest reading it. So that's all I have for this review. I hope that it made sense, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. So if you did, leave a comment below. If you have any questions about it, you can leave a comment there also. You can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thumb up. You can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And that's all I have for you guys today, so I will see you with my next review. Bye!